I'm a male and was 25 years old when this happened to me. A few years ago I was staying at my great-granddad's house because he had gone into a home and we needed someone to look after it. I had always seen and heard strange things happening around me, but I had to put up with it to help my family. Anyway, one day I was out in the sunroom having a coffee and reading a book when I realised I needed to go up the street and get some things. So I went into the house and closed all the doors inside. It was a pretty warm day, so I wanted to close everything so that the air conditioning worked best. So, I closed all the doors inside, locked the front door and back door and left for about 15 minutes. When I got home, it was chaos. I unlocked the back door to find every single door inside wide open, cupboard doors as well. I went through to check the house and checked the front door. It was still locked. I felt something move behind me, so I spun around to see a whole load of nothing. By this stage, as you can imagine, I was pretty freaked out, so I started to back my way out of the door again. As I was doing so, I could see shapes or shadows running around the edges of my vision. But when I looked directly at it, there was nothing. So I backed my way out to the sunroom again, and then noticed the book I was reading, the coffee cup, and ashtray. Everything that was on the table was scattered on the floor. Then I looked inside. It was the same. Not ransacked, but random stuff scattered around. I saw more movements inside too. Multiple movements. Just shadows though, but there were several of them moving inside. I didn't want to leave because I was still trying to convince myself I was imagining things. Or maybe I had just walked into a home burglary. Once I heard the door started to close and open again, I was done. Nothing could make me walk back into that house alone. I sat outside in the sunroom for about an hour whilst I waited for my wife to come home from work and watch these shadows wander around my house or have a spectral party or whatever. The whole time I was trying to convince myself there was another explanation. When I heard my wife's car pull into the driveway, everything disappeared. No movements, nothing. She walked in and asked me why I trashed the sunroom. It was some freaky stuff.
So, I was babysitting my little brother. I was 14 and he was 4 at the time. He would talk as he fell asleep because he had quite a few imaginary friends that he would sometimes tell goodnight to before he went to sleep. One night he was talking, and unlike normal, I heard something in the background of the baby monitor, and I went upstairs to see if one of his toys had come on. When I got up there, nothing was out of the ordinary, and he told me he was just talking to the old lady. I didn't think anything of it, because, like I said, he had an active imagination. A few months later, we were looking through some old family photo albums, and he pointed to a picture and said, "That is the old lady that tells me goodnight. It was my great-grandmother, who died when I was 5.
I used to play Dance Central often on my Xbox Connect. I was home alone one evening and decided to get some cardio in as an alternative to running on a dreadfully boring treadmill. So I turned on my Xbox and selected an upbeat song to dance. As I was dancing alone in one-player mode, halfway through the song, the Xbox recognised a second player. For those who have seen or played the game, there is a box on the upper right-hand corner that shows the outline of your silhouette to track movements. In that box, I saw a weird figure right next to me, which quickly disappeared. After that, I turned off the TV and kind of stood there still frozen in fear. I really hope that was a glitch in the game or something, because that happened to my older cousin as well. I think there may be something in our house.
I was the caretaker at a ranch just outside of Yellowstone National Park. It was winter, and my dog and I were the only two on the property. Overnight, there was a large snowstorm. I woke up at 5 a.m. to my dog barking and a knock on the front door. I woke startled and waited for another knock before I got out of bed. My dog was now pacing and moaning, so I stumbled to the front door and opened it up. There was no one there. Not a single track in the snow leading to the house in the fresh 15 inches of powder. And my nearest neighbor was 2 miles away. I went back to bed and didn't think too much about it. Later that morning I woke and my dog and I went to town to work my other job as a ski technician. When I returned home later that night, my back door was wide open. Still, the only tracks to or from the house were mine and my pups. I searched the entire property and still no new tracks. Searching the house, I found that the bed had been slept on in the guest bedroom. That bed had been made and neat for weeks. There was still an indentation of someone's head on the pillow. This was an old ranch, and I've heard rumors that a few people had died in this cabin.
When I was 15, I was home alone, and my doorbell rang. I asked who it was through the door, and a guy told me it was my pizza delivery. I told him I hadn't ordered a pizza, and he told me that someone had ordered one, paid for it, and sent it to me. I decided to open our peak window that was in the door, and as soon as I did, he slammed his hand over it so that I couldn't see him. I told him I didn't want the pizza and to go away, but he didn't. He walked around the side of the house, and I could see his silhouette trying to look inside our windows. I quickly pulled all of the curtains and yelled that I was going to call the cops. He finally left. It's important to remember that pizza is never free. Hey guys, it's Mort here, and thank you so much for listening. First and foremost, I want to thank the incredibly talented Shivers for his help in this video. We actually did another collaboration over on his channel about 5 creepy neighbours from hell. And believe me when I tell you that you do not want to miss it. So click the link on screen now and go over and watch it. Or if you've just come over from his channel, why not stick around to check out some of the other awesome videos on screen now. Also guys, I have 2 videos that I'm planning to do very soon, but I want to know which ones you want first. Skinwalker stories or ghost stories? So you can leave me a comment on the video, Twitter, Instagram, just to have your say. Make sure you subscribe though to get notified when it comes out, as it'll be here very soon. Also, remember that if you have a story that you wish to submit, send it over to my email in the description and have it featured in a future video. Just remember to say that you give your consent to use it though. But anyway, for now guys, I'm going to sign off. Stay awesome. Remember to spam that like button, and I'll see you in the next one.